Well, I think it's important to understand and to put everything in the context, and I think it really goes back to the beginning. My set of circumstances, my environment was such that I just simply did not have much of what other people had. Growing up in poverty is an understatement. We were poor, just P.O., just Po. We couldn't afford the other two letters. We were there. And I want to be clear here, my mother did the best she could with what she had, but as a single mother living in low-income housing or subsidized housing projects, we struggled a lot every day. And when it came to things like health and fitness and nutrition, nobody ever talked about these things in my household. It was just something that was never discussed. It was always go down the street and grab something from the liquor store, which served as our grocery store. We didn't have a grocery store nearby, and so you'd find yourself eating things that were sold in a convenience store, which is not very healthy. And so for me, the United States military changed everything. It was the Air Force that really got me off the streets and allowed me to grow from a little boy to a man. Things like showing up on time, personal responsibility, following orders, rules, and regulations. These are all foreign to me, given how I was raised and coming from the community that I came from. And so the Air Force was the seminal piece, and it was really the first exposure of anything related to health and fitness. In other words, you had to get up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, and obviously there was an awful lot of physical activity. And so while I was exposed to it then, by the time I served in the United States Air Force for 4 years, it separated, came back to Kansas City. I got involved in politics and really education, which has always been something that I had a strong interest in, particularly during my military years. Life gets in the way, and so I didn't really give health, wellness, and fitness a high priority. And so years and years and years would pass, traveling literally all over the world, promoting humanitarian, educational, and cultural exchanges, and eating all sorts of things all over the world. I never saw myself as a big person, and I assumed that people perceived me not necessarily as a person who was overweight or obese or anything like that. And I thought I was doing pretty good. It wasn't until I met Micah and Diana at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters event that life began to change. I mean, I see these two people strolling right in, and they're like people that you see in magazines that you could just sort of tear out of a magazine and put on your wall, or people that you would see on television. And they didn't know this at the time, but I observed everything about them, because they were just not only they're good-looking people, they're interesting people. And I looked at the way he looked at her repeatedly throughout the evening, and vice versa, the way she would look at him, and you knew that there was something special about these two people. So I said, well, I want to get to know them. I wouldn't mind becoming friends, and so we did. And it wasn't long before Micah took one look at me and said, "You are skinny fat." Now, first of all, I didn't appreciate that very much, because I didn't know what skinny fat meant. In other words, I knew what skinny meant and I knew what fat meant, but I had no idea you could be skinny and fat. And he began to explain to me how men carry their weight around their waist area, around their stomach area. And of course, I go home that night and I look in the mirror and I said, well, now, wow, he's right. After doing a few Google searches, I had to come to the conclusion that while I gave the outward appearance of the picture of health, I was not as healthy as I could or should have been. I was skinny fat, like Micah told me. And so that's when he and I got together, and I made a commitment to not go through a weight loss program. That's not what HitFit is all about. It is a lifestyle choice. It is a radically different program in that you focus on transformation. It's not so much scale weight, I learned, it's body fat percentage. Who would have thought about that? I certainly didn't. And so I've been able to, as a result of working with Micah and Diana, really radically change the way I view health and wellness. And I'm the kind of person, when something good happens to me, I can't wait to share it with other people. And so I've tried to tell as many people as I can the Hitch Fit gospel, the Hitch Fit way of life, the Hitch Fit lifestyle, and all the wonderful things that it's done for me. For example, I feel that I am more healthy today than any other time in my life. There's just no question about it. I'm able to do things from a physical and mental standpoint that I never even thought possible. That was always someone else who would do those things. And again, growing up, having not participated in any organized activity, primarily because we couldn't afford it, to be able to do these things now has just been a really, really good experience. I am eternally grateful to Micah and to Diana. But it's not just me. My family is very, very important to me as well. And so my daughter, Ariel, she too is a hitch fitter. As parents, we have a responsibility to our children to make sure that we set an example for them. And while I had focused almost exclusively on exercising my mind, taking degrees, a bachelor's degree in economics, a master's degree in economics, a master's degree in political science, an MBA in finance, a law degree, a doctorate, and a few other certifications and certificates, I neglected my body. Well, now my daughter is watching all of this, and so she's following suit in the educational path, but now she's looking at me and watching me go through this transformation. And she too is a new hitch fitter too. And I think what she's understanding and appreciating about health is a lot of the images that our young people see out there today, particularly our young girls. In other words, I have a beautiful daughter that I care about and love very deeply. They're seeing all of these images, and the things that I'm learning in Hitch Fit are opposite of what these images are portraying. And so how do I go about telling my daughter that some of these things that these people, images that they're portraying and the foods that they're eating are not healthy and that they have long-term health implications, I think is important. And so Ariel has developed a greater appreciation for that. And so in one of the books that she's writing, she's talking about the importance of health and nutrition and well-being as she goes through the transformation process herself. And so Ariel, you are a new hitch fitter, understanding how good nutrition and health and wellness is important. What does it mean to you?
Well, I think connecting your body and your mind is really important. So just getting my mind right, that's one thing, but just getting my eating habits right. And it's not even just eating habits, it's really just a lifestyle choice that I'm deciding to make to have a good, healthy mind and also a good, healthy body.
Wow, couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. I believe.